Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to CSC NA Stream A. We have a fantastic rescheduled game for you tonight. It is an elite playoff match. Might have saw the very beginning of it the other day, but was rescheduled to today. We're going to finish what we started the other day. I'm Amos Kingsnake, and I am joined by
Gareth, how's it going?
the man, the myth, the legend. It is indeed Gareth. How you doing today, Gareth?
I'm doing good. You know, like you said, we saw a little bit of a teaser yesterday when we saw these two teams face off against each other, and I believe it was Anubis on the first map. Now, I do believe that the maps and the map bans are going to be the same, but I don't know where we are headed for map number 1. I'm pretty sure it is going to be Anubis, but in case it isn't, Amos, do you know what the other maps were?
I believe it was, wasn't it Nuke and Inferno, if I remember correctly?
You are correct. There we go. Ding, ding, ding. A winner, winner, chicken dinner.
What do I
Phenomenal
win?
Stuff.
You said I'm a winner. What do I win?
Well, you know what? Actually, you can win. You can win a question from yours truly. You know what? You can ask me any question about any of these teams and any of these maps, and I will answer it to the best of my ability because I do have some information on these teams.
Ooh, okay. So, my first question would be, let's just ask you straight up, who do you think has this in the bag based on the stats?
Ooh. All right. Well, you know what? There's a bit more to this answer, but I am gonna say Onryos. You know, obviously Anubis is a very is basically home court advantage for Walling Wizards, and Onryos I do believe has well, actually no, they don't. They do have a fair bit of experience on Nuke, but not so much Inferno. But last time they were on stream, Walling Wizards was down 2 to I believe it was 4, if not down 2 to 6. So even on their home court, the Walling Wizards seem to be struggling just a little bit. So I am gonna have to give it to Onryos.
Though, something I will say is that based off of the map picks, it does appear that H4K did start the CT on the CT side. So, unfortunately for them, that is the weaker side on that map. CTs are heavily disfavored to win most of the rounds. Ts have a lot of control, get a lot of control for free. They get a lot of space. Mid rounds are very favored towards them. It is a very T-sided map, but with the extra day in between, maybe they'll be able to rally back and get some of that traction that they lost early on in that first handful of rounds that we got to see, the little teaser yesterday. So let's see what they've got today.
Honestly, I do think that if they did take some extra time to draft, they are going to need to be careful of these first bloods, especially around the mid areas, because we saw Cade, as well as a couple other members on the side of Onryos, just kind of just absolutely blow the Walling Wizards apart with, all kinds of crazy strats and lineups with the Molotovs. So, again, like I said, if they are going to be doing any prep, that is going to have to be the number one thing. If they aren't able to adjust, I do think that Onryos is going to still win Anubis, even though, again, like you said, it is a T-sided map. I do think that Onryos has this one on lock.
Right on. Well, we are just waiting for the players to join into the server, and we'll see who is right about what. I do believe that you have the right idea for you, though, going for you. But since we're still waiting, what do you think about the other two maps? Did say that
Ooh.
the
All right.
other two maps, Nuke apparently has Boo Crew written all over it. How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I do think that you are correct, because, oh geez, Onryo, the Boo Crew, as you said, they have double the amount of wins that the Wizards have on Nuke, so I do think that it is quite favored, and of course, Onryo's has a 100% win rate. Now, we are going to ignore the fact that they only have 2 wins, because saying that they have double the wins of the Wizards sounds a lot cooler, so we're going to stick with that. And as far as Inferno, it could really go either way, because Walling Wizards have played it once, but they lost their only game on it, whereas Onryo's, they have never played the game. When I was looking at their history, they haven't played Inferno before. So
Inferno
I can't
does
quite
tend to
say.
get pretty heavily tends to get picked against most of the time. Even the teams that end up liking it, whenever you're playing in the regular season, it is just a best of one, so both teams get to ban 3 different maps, and usually Inferno gets picked against, especially if the team you're playing against happens to like it a lot. So it does tend to get not a lot of playtime on it. But, that makes for a perfect decider in my
Sure.
eyes because it's middle ground. It is the middle ground. Map 3, if it is required, is always where boys are made into men because
Mhm.
both teams will have needed to win a map to get to that point. So they'll both have
True.
something to prove. So looks like that's just
Absolutely.
going to be
And
the story of this whole series, huh?
oh, for sure, for sure. And as far as having something to prove, both of these teams are still on a 3-game win streak. They used to be 5-5 each, but of course, they had their 3-game win streaks, which pushed them up to that 8-5 win streak. So I do think that another story is going to be, not only protecting your pride on these home court advantages, but also who can keep their win streak the longest. Because definitely getting into the higher bracket in these quarterfinals is going to be favored. I don't think that you're going to be out if you do happen to lose this game, but at the same time, you do want that higher seed advantage just to do a little bit more VOD reviewing and to just kind of hit cruise control for the first couple matches.
Oh, if these are the quarterfinals, it is single elimination.
Ooh, okay.
Once you lose a series, you are done and dusted. There is no losers bracket. It is
Okay.
the end of your season. So they do have a lot on the line to play for.
All right, well then I will absolutely stand corrected, and yeah, I guess that does increase the stakes a little bit more because again, I will rattle on about the about last night's match in case you weren't there to see it. Again, it is a T-sided map, so maybe that is why it wasn't going their way. But for a lot of the rounds that were won by Onryos on the Wizards' map pick of Anubis, the Wizards were they were only able to get off like 1 or 2 people from the side of Onryos, which does make a lot of their wins very very dominant from the side of Onryos. So I'm really hoping that they do put a little bit more practice into basically just kind of blocking out the mid areas, maybe throwing some more smokes so that Cade can't find a lot of these first bloods and really open up the rounds against the Wizards. Whatever they do, it has to change because again, it was not working for them very well when they were playing last night.
It is the type of map. Anubis is the type of map where on CT side, because you are already so down, you do have to kind of take some risks. You can't just play standard positions all the time and just kind of let the rounds speak for themselves. You do have to be proactive. You have to almost play CT side as a T. You have to try to even up the disadvantage early on because if you just let the rounds play out, you will get ran over as time progresses. So does look like we are getting more and more players into the server. Still, how many do we got?
I don't
We
know.
got all 10 connected. That is according to the production team.
Okay.
So the game will be starting here very soon.
Absolutely. And you know what? We've talked a lot about my thoughts on this match. Amos, how about we get yours? Any kind of round guesses that you had to give?
Well, I have not seen much of it. I haven't seen any of it, but I do
Okay.
know that in Elite, nobody ever really gives up. Everybody can come back from a loss. People at this level, they do know how to change things up. There are multiple strategies. So we're going to see just how much they can change it up on the H4K side, especially with that extra day break to give themselves some time to get back into it. But the game is going live. Stream is starting. We're about to see just if they've got what it takes.
For sure, and there is something to be said about it going to 2 overtime wins, whereas the Wizards only have.
First frag. Zenroll tries to come out the smoke, but gets shut down by the pack of boos hanging around. The mid player, though, activates. Kriz finds one outside. Can't find more than one, though. Tries to go a little bit too wide. Tries to double dip off the pick and gets punished for it. And it leaves Dark and Sponce in the 2 versus 3.
And that's the IGL down. Obviously not the ideal person that you do want to lose in these fights, but this is exactly what I was telling you. In these first opening seconds of a round, Onryos have been very much able to abuse the Wizards pretty much in every which way imaginable and really break open this site.
They haven't quite committed anything yet, but they do have a full minute left on the clock, so they could go anywhere. They could do anything. Though, maybe not if Dark has something to say about it. He is slowly creeping up canals, coming up the steps. Could catch yet another timing on this mid-hit from the Onryos. Nobody is checking it at this current point, so he could find a lot of impact here if he continues to sneak his way behind this player. He's going to elect to go mid behind the Lurker, but the Lurker gets shut down. But unfortunately for him, his backstab is going to get nothing, unfortunately, because the B hit is coming in and nobody is home. The Onryos have taken it for free, and the bomb is going to get planted. It is now a 2 versus 2 retake. Sponce and Dark expected to clutch up.
Yeah, Dark going to be entering E-Box here. They are going to have to form a little bit of a crunch, and they're going to need to speed it up because they're heading into a deadly crossfire, but they win their crossfire. And now it's just going to be left to clean up from the side of the Wizards, and dare I say, that was pretty magical, as the defuse is going to be relatively easy.
Yeah, that was some good fights from both of the Walling Wizards. They go right on through. Hey, I like it too. Thank you, Music Kit. I appreciate that.
That's pretty solid rhymes, man.
Yeah, of course, of course. You gotta be quick on your feet whenever you you gotta be quick-witted, quick on your feet to play a game like Counter-Strike and to cast for a game like Counter-Strike. And you gotta be just a little silly.
I see. Well, I don't think...
Coming out of the Onryos, it is they had a full day to talk out plans. Guess they're gonna need another 30 seconds to really finalize them. First round of the day went the way of the Wizards, and that is all Onryos want them to get, it would appear. They're going to go ahead and talk it out and try to prevent a Walling Wizards comeback.
Absolutely, and I will say that the Walling Wizards actually made some really nice adaptations since we saw them last time, because when they were on stream first, whenever Onryos found these opening picks against them, especially with Cade finding a majority of these earlier kills, the Wizards kind of fell apart. They weren't able to play the map as much, but as we saw in that last map, they kept the cool head. They set up a nice crossfire, and the fights over on that B side went exactly the way they wanted.
Yeah, the retake was nice. Ooh, opening pick goes the way of Dark. Players try to double swing. The Boo players try to double swing onto him from mid, but nobody finds their mark except for him. Dark collects the skull, and it puts H4K in an early man advantage.
That'll be a nice little bit of breathing room, but nothing committed to yet. As you're saying, this map is all about taking risks if you are the defensive side, so definitely going to be pushing up, trying any angle they can, and...
Yeah, they're happy to get that opening pick. They are going to be slinking back a little bit. Dark has been smoked off, so it's all on to Kriz if the mid hit comes in fully from these remaining Ts, which does look like it will be. Ooh, but the flank kill, the E-Box kill, is going to cause a rotation through the window. A little bit of a crunch towards the B site. It is all onto Zakil to get it all by his lonesome teammates. Just now rotated in though. A little too slow. Unless Taco has something to say, it's 1 versus 5, now 1 versus 3. Now 1 versus 2. Okay, Taco is showing that he could maybe get it all done on his own. He's gotten 3 kills to his name, but with 25 seconds remaining and the position's not going 1 or 2 players, that is a tough ask out of him, and Walling Wizards are able to recover it and get the tie 4-4.
Even still, yeah, Taco definitely one of the other very scary players on the side of Onryos, because he pretty much did exactly what you saw right there back on our first game day when they faced off initially. Able to find a lot of kills seemingly from out of nowhere, and even though, pardon me, Onryos did lose that match, they did get 3 guns out of the hands of Walling Wizards. You know, it's some nice economic damage, but it's not quite going to be enough to set them behind just yet.
Yeah, both teams are going to be able to rebuy. That early eco advantage gain clawed by the Onryos is paying off for them now. They're able to keep the pressure on. The H4K, because of them losing all 3 of those players on the 1 versus 5, they're not out of the economic woods yet. They're reserve money, but it's not. So, okay. Fights exchanging bodies back and forth at mid. 2 kills a pop for both teams. Leaves both sides in a 3-on-3 situation. With mid space being given over, though, Dark is going to try to re-clear. He's taking the op from Temple and just going for a little bit of a peek, but nobody is home, at least according to him. Everyone is tucked. No one is giving that fight away for free. And the remaining Boo crew does appear to have elected to group up towards Canals, and they're going to be finishing B.
Honestly, look at this patience from the Wizards. They haven't really pushed up. They've just held strong. But that being said, I do think that Wizards are going to be feeling the pressure on this B side once again.
Yeah, tested. Player Dildo absolutely pops his head off, and that is Onryos getting the plant basically uncontested. The singular B defender gets absolutely smoked on to Aeon and Dark to try to make something happen. Or ADN, my apologies. But with a low HP ADN being warded away by Ox at E-Box, it does look like it is not very possible, and Dark is going to elect to save the up into the following round, and Onryos are going to get their 5th.
Honestly, not too bad. If you are the Onryos, you're pretty happy with that one. Because honestly, I do think that they kind of backed the Wizards into a corner there. Once the map fell silent, they kind of just figured, hey, we could just run over whatever site we please. You know, we're even in numbers, but we have the info advantage. No, John is taken! And look at that, it's a nice exit frag. Not enough to win the round, but definitely, if you are Dark, that's going to be feeling nice on the KD.
Yeah, does help punish the T economy a little bit more. Not allowing the Onryos to build up too much of a bank. Definitely are going to be able to rebuy on their side, but money is not in the best position for them if they lose this round. And with no loss bonus, that is going to be a bit tough if they consider rebuying into the next. But, hey, you know, if you don't want to run out of money in Counter-Strike, just don't lose rounds. So let's see if the Onryos have what it takes to do that. Could be a fast A-hit coming in from them. A lot of space being given over, but Ox is going to take a nade from the dome. And the player King activates, getting 3 frags from the position, going huge, absolutely demolishing the Boo attack. And it's all on the shoulders of JTS and Blink. Now just Blink asked to 1 versus 2 against 2 H4K players who have the bomb and have the know-how of where his location is.
Well, if Taco could almost do it, I want to say that Blink is going to be able to be pretty successful. You know, they haven't been as flashy as some of the other players, but I don't think
he's walking right into the boom. Easiest kill of Dark's life. Walling Wizards tie the score up yet again. It is 5-5, and Onryos not in the best economic position. No loss bonus and no bomb plant means they are not too able to get themselves a competitive buy for the 11th round of play. In fact, they're going to tack pause just to really try to hedge their bets the best way they can.
Honestly, one thing that I did want to bring up as well is I do think that Walling Wizards, something has very clearly changed. Even though, they did lose a couple rounds today, the rounds that they lost were very, very close, which is very, very much unlike what happened yesterday. And honestly, I think that we can attest that to, maybe some team planning because, word on the street and is that, of course, Walling Wizards, they have a lot of talent on their roster, but they haven't really turned that firepower into consistency just yet. And if they do figure it out, they can beat almost anyone, but if they can't, then they are gonna still remain as one of the scarier teams in this region, or sorry, in this quarterfinals. But obviously, if they lose this round or this game, it isn't going to be the best for them. So I do think that they have kind of figured out how to turn this firepower into consistency because I'm seeing a lot of consistent improvements across the board.
I'd say so. I would say so indeed. Although it does help that whenever you have that day break, not the most common thing, but it allows you to prepare on specifically only the maps that you're going to be playing. It's a lot easier. Ooh. Gotta love some Mag 7 kills, just collects $1,800 in the Skulls of 2, just pushing through the Canals position, and no one is left to trade on that side of the map. T-side, the Onryos just gotta watch the Swag 7 collect some skulls with no recompense. It's just the shoulders of KO, JTS, and Blink left, but with pistols only to their name, they are just waiting to be slaughtered, and indeed they do. ADN collects a triple, slaughters every last pistol player that's left on the Onryo side, and Walling Wizards take the lead.
Yeah, I will say that when it comes to preparing stuff, the shotguns were a new innovation from the Walling Wizards. We definitely didn't see a lot of those, or at least I must have missed them from yesterday. So maybe they did prepare against Onryos because, as it turns out, Onryos really do like to group together. There's a lot of pushes where they have multiple members, and shotguns are probably the best ways at turning a lot of these close-range fights and even grouped up fights into wins.
It's more of a, probably just figured they were not going to be on the best economic buy. Usually on save round situations, usually on full gun round situations, you don't really buy a lot of shotguns, you buy SMGs if you can't afford a rifle, but speaking of needing to buy rifles, it did not matter that the Onryos had a full buy there. They were absolutely slaughtered in mid by Walling Wizards, who have turned what was a tumultuous and turbulent start of their game into a strong finish on their CT side. 7 rounds on the weaker side.
And yeah, like you're saying, this is the weaker side, so everything should be coming up Wizards unless the Onryos have something special planned. Now, there is something to be said for Cade and, of course, Mr. Taco himself, because they were finding a ton of frags and a ton of value on this T side. So I wonder if they are going to be adopting a much more risky play style, like you said the CT should have on this map, and I wonder if that is going to be working in their favor.
A couple of pieces of util on the H4K side, but it's mostly armor going to be purchased by them. Same story over on the CT side. Just some armor and some just mostly some armor, a few pieces of util, so it's going to be a straight up brawl no matter where the fights end up happening. Looks like it's going to be a little bit of an A pop out of Boo Crew. That's what they're setting up for. But with the smoke to block, let's see if they elect to go somewhere else. No, they're just going to charge right on through. They're going to take the risk, and it goes huge. First kill goes the way of H4K. Frizz pops ahead, but gets a couple more as well. And the A site falls. Boo Crew left to scramble back on a 2 versus 4 man disadvantage.
Could be.
Please completing some work. No, sir. ADN's on the case. Shuts down both players coming in from Z, and that is Walling Wizards taking the second pistol, making the score 8-5.
We saw some pretty magical gunfights over on that A site. We saw a lot of bobbing and weaving in between those bullets from both teams, so that's certainly great. But, bobbing and weaving in between the dual Berettas, that's twice as impressive, because that's twice the amount of guns.
Absolutely. It's hard not to get shot whenever there's 2 guns shooting at you.
I learned that the hard way, but I will not elaborate.
That sounds like a tragic backstory, but unfortunately, there's not quite enough time to get into it. Some upgraded pistols is all Boo Crew have elected to invest in this round with. They just absolutely obliterates Blink. Blink gone. Blink, and they are gone. And it is man advantage for H4K. They're pressing it further. Taco goes huge, gets the 2 1-deeks back-to-back, pop, and does a lot of damage onto kill cam. So let's see if JTS and KO can make something happen to this round. Ooh, but with KO going down, getting spotted, position known, that is all onto the shoulders of JTS with simply a deagle to work with. Now, there are a couple of low HP players, so it's not the most unfeasible retake on the planet, but still, bit of a done. It's mostly, for assuredly, a done deal, most would say.
Smoke is gonna fade. Might no. The shoulder in time.
Ooh, but Dark gets Dark is spelled. JTS gets. Ooh, he gets another 1-deeg, and it's the low HP player left to make something in this round. But with no kit on JTS, that is over and done with for him. All he's gonna collect for his trouble is an upgraded rifle. But the round does go H4K's way. But man, definitely not the type of thing you want to see against full pistols if you are H4K. Losing all 5 players to just a low buy is pretty miserable. It's going to wipe away every last bit of economy that they had saved up as they full buy into this 15th round.
That was a very clutch play from the Onryos IGL themselves. Again, it takes something to put a team together, but then to also play with that team is just a whole other level. And again, keeping their cool head in a 1v3 with a pistol only, hitting those meaty head taps was absolutely phenomenal. And let's see if they can do it again, heading into a double full buy.
Yeah. Full buy from both sides is true. The full buys, that is where men are born. The pistol rounds, the save rounds, that's where the silly plays happen, but the real show starts now. Let's see let's see who can take these rifles and to greater heights.
Yeah, bit of a slower start though.
Group up from H4K outside of B. Start out. Does look like they want to finish there, especially with ADN so close to E-Box. He's going to take a little bit of nade chip for his trouble. And gets felled by the Galil. His teammate gets 1, but is traded back by Dark, who gets a 2K, but Taco is on the case yet again, shuts down Dark, and puts H4K in a man disadvantaged situation. But the kills are going clean for Kriz. He gets 1, but he gets traded back, and it's all in his kill cam's shoulders, but the weight is too great. Ox is on the case, shoots him in the side, and Onryos get there first on their CT side and make the scoreline 6-9.
That's a beautiful, beautiful score, if I say so myself. But, you know, if I was going to give this to anyone, I do, again, want to give it to the Wizards because they are starting to dominate this map. And again, it is T-sided. We said it before, but I will say it again. T-sided map, but it doesn't matter. Walling Wizards were struggling so much when they went up against the Onryos initially. So I'm very happy that they were able to pull it back in their favor at least a little bit. But now take a look at this buy. They are going to be back on pistols, and we'll see what they can do with them this time.
Yeah, they might have gotten bomb planted, but with no loss bonus on top of that, it's still just 2K per player, so they're just going to go ahead and save. Not going to throw away, or they're just going to go ahead and concede round 16. JTS, not warded away by the flash, pops the head of Dark, and it's just some pistols left over to try to shore up the score, but looks like that is not going to be happening. No trade frag offered back up, no space offered up, just begging, pleading on the H4K side for anybody to step out of line, to step out of turn, but nobody is doing so. Dark gets a kill. No, Dark gets killed, my apologies, from the window player. Oh no, did Dark die earlier? Maybe it was ADN. My apologies.
ADN did get shot by Ox.
Oh, gotcha.
But regardless,
either way, just a pistol buy. Not really much you can expect out of this type of round, especially whenever the defense is so fully kitted up with M4s, ops, and even AKs galore. Fight goes the way of JTS and Mid.
Oh man.
Blink gets one of his own, and it's all onto the shoulders of Kriz, but again, 1 versus 5 expected against better weapons. Not much left you can do there except die, and he does indeed lose his life, and it is now a 2-round game.
It's starting to look a little bit closer. You know, obviously we said that the CT side is weaker, and of course Walling Wizards were on some weaker buys heading into the second half. But at the same time, this does kind of get the alarm bells ringing for me, because Onryos, if this momentum keeps on going, they will be able to just run away with this game completely uncontested. And for the Wizards, something has to change. They can't keep doing the same thing and hope that it works.
Again, it does look like they're just going to go ahead and save. Money is just so wrecked by them losing that round on no loss bonus, and like the second round of losing all those guns is coming back to haunt them huge here. Still just pistols to work with, so yet again they're just going to complete another round more than likely. Boo Crew set to collect one more and make it a one-round game. Unless this mid hit has something to say about it. A lot of pistols grouped up here, but Taco has been firing huge, and he has in fact fired huge yet again. Pops the head of ADN, and that just leaves Spons all alone as Taco gets yet another. Spons left alone with a deagle. 5 players to find. Don't think that he's got it quite in him.
We've seen some crazy Deagle plays, but Spons, I don't know if they are the best Deagle enjoyer. I do think that title would have to go to Dark on the side of the Wizards, but regardless, they are going to try to do literally anything. As they're hanging around double doors here, they might be able to catch Ox off guard.
Ooh, Ox caught looking the wrong way, playing from Nico, loses his head, but that's basically all Spons can ask for at this point. His position now known. Nobody else wants to overpeak and give him anything for free, especially with that bomb. Well, he does have the bomb, but both sites are being heavily guarded. His exit is being watched, and the op is true. Pops the head, destroys Spons, and it is now a one-round game. Onryos get their 8th.
Although, at the same time, I do think that if you are Walling Wizards, that is not that horrendous of a round. Obviously, you did still lose, and that blows, but you did get a couple kills out of it, which is honestly not too bad. Is it enough to disrupt the Onryos economy? Probably not. Probably not for another couple rounds, but at the same time, it does kind of get that momentum back on track, you know, kind of resets the mental a little bit, and does give them a, you know, dare I say, a pretty decent buy heading into this round.
Oh, Onryos is rich. They've got money for days. Packball is coming out of Wizards just to hopefully try to make something out of this first proper gun round. They have not had a first proper... Even the first gun round they had, quote-unquote, which was round 3, they were on economic dire straits thanks to losing all those players before. So this is the first time they've actually got full proper buy with everything maxed out, grenades, and op, AKs. Let's see if they can make them, if they can put them to good work. Oh no, Blink tries to go for a little bit of a cheeky early aggression and just gets burned down to cinders, and Dark gets one of his own, and that leaves Onryos at a man disadvantage. Only 3 players left to the H4K's 5-man strong squad. Trade back is offered by Taco, the hero of this Onryos defense, but unfortunately, and he gets yet another on Dark, on Kriz rotating in, but that is still a long way to go for the Onryos. Is true from the T side, pushing out of main. Traded back though, and it is all onto Taco, the unsung hero, or maybe the sung hero, trying to win the 1 versus 2, but with a smoke in his face and his position known, it looks quite impossible, and he is just waiting to die, and in fact, he is just going to elect to save at this point. Not even going to try to go for... Okay, maybe he's going to go for it. He's a mad lad, but 10 seconds remaining, no fights offered up. He is in fact going to try to run away for the time being. And that is going to be H4K off of a late B hit, collecting double digits.
Yeah, Taco's Brick, you know, they do have main character energy, but they don't have plot armor. They don't want to try to give up any of the any guns, again, for free to Walling Wizards, because they did kind of steal that last round. A lot of the fights were insanely close, and it was just a matter of maybe some better sprays from the Walling Wizards that did manage to get those couple crucial kills on the flanks, which did, of course, secure them the round. But Taco's Brick, I mean, I think that they're going to be going huge this round.
They definitely are feeling themselves. It's just unfortunate for the Onryos that they took the risks that I was talking about earlier, and they just burned down to cinders in that Molotov. It just spread in a way to where they just took so much damage and just died to it, and then the other opening fight went his teammates' way, so that's just a 3 versus 5 right off the bat. Not much you can expect out of that type of round. Opening fight does go the way of Onryos this time, however. Dark is going to lose his head to the A1S, and that is going to put H4K at a disadvantage yet again, though it does look like they're going to try to work towards the A side of the map now that they seem to be detecting a bit of a B stack.
B stack, it might be detected, but I think they, through some util, they are going to figure out that this A site is completely vacant. And maybe taking the spike over there is going to be next on their plans, but the rotations are already coming through from the side of Onryos. This could get messy.
Killcam is going to take the first fight. Nothing. Oh, the double peek is good. Loses 10-4, but the double peek from the other side is quite scary. Absolutely shoots his teammate in the back of his head, and Onryos collect the last frag and leave it as a one and bring it back to a one-round game yet again. And just look at the money on the Walling Wizards. Again, they are just so economically broke, downtrodden, nothing to work with.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be very, very difficult. But one thing I did want to mention is that if this game goes into overtime, I do think that it favors the Onryos because they have 2 overtime wins, whereas the Wizards, they only have 1 overtime loss and win.
Well, the Onryos definitely don't want to make an overtime happen. They are feeling themselves. They might have lost a lot of traction on their C side, but they are firing back with a lot of ferocity on their CT side. Though granted, they have been fighting most of it. The pistol does find its mark, but it's traded back. Still man advantage for the way of Onryos. Ox is left alone at mid, but that's all that is needed, all that is required. He is holding down the line, and his teammates are holding their own as well. Spotted on the jump spot. Cade is going to go for a little bit of a peek towards 8 main, is rewarded hugely for it, finds the head of Dark and swiftly removes it, and it is all onto Killcam, and responds to shoulders to try to make something happen with the very low weaponry, but it is a task too great. Onryos tie up the score.
Yep. Onryos, once again, they're completely running away with the CT side. And again, this is supposed to be the weaker side, but at the same time, I do think that Walling Wizards is giving them a lot of opportunities to find their way back into this game with a huge win streak that has been building. Again, Walling Wizards, they are broke half the time, especially heading into the second half. So, let's have you cosplay Chris for a second, Amos, because Chris is the IGL. How are you going to be bringing your team out of this one? Nice utilities can be exchanged over in mid. Again, we've seen a lot of fights go up and down here, but Dark finds the opener finally. A bit of a feast or famine player is able to grab that first off kill of the second half, if I'm not mistaken, because it has been pretty rough for him. I think slowing down now, but Blink creeping up into the smoke. I don't think they know that there is a player waiting right above them on boost. Are going to be able to find a timing over, but how valuable is it going to be? Staring down a couple players. Continue creeping up as the mid hit is going to be going a little bit faster.
They've got to try to reclaim some kind of space here. He's going to do that. Finds the head of the player lining up the smoke, and another head is collected by the Onryos. Pops absolutely pops Kriz, trying to swing in towards Z. Gets deleted. It is a man advantage for the Onryos. Yet again. Cade's about to be tested. The double swing just goes so poorly. H4K gets shut down completely trying to re-clear mid, and it is all onto the shoulders of Sponce now to try to make something happen. But the weight might be a little bit too great. The bomb is down in mid. The Onryos are swarming, and it looks like 11 is within grasping distance for the Boo crew.
What happened to this last fight? No, not going to be
Sponce gets a nice one tap onto the player, but it is a consolation frag at best. He's traded back immediately. Onryos get 11.
Yeah, it's looking very, very rough. And again, you're saying that the CT side is weaker, but dare I say the Onryos are looking stronger than they've ever looked before in this game. And I mean, dare I say, even the series and even the last series that they had against the Walling Wizards.
True.
Looking at this one, it is going to be another tech pause. What do you imagine that the Walling Wizards are going to be talking about now that they are forced to save yet again?
Oh, they're just debating whether or not they want to go for a half buy, full buy, hedge their bets. I mean, it's tough. Nothing that they're doing is really working. Even when they got a man advantage in the last round, it just got shut down. It got stolen right back. And just their swings, they're just like it feels like they're trying to play together, but they're just like stepping on each other's toes. There's so many of these rounds that are just going like, oh, let's swing together, guys. You know, eights together, strong together. And then they swing perfectly in line and get killed both. Like they just get sprayed. They get sprayed down like through each other. Absolutely brutal. So this looks like they're just gonna go for a Mac 10 Sec 9 buy towards A site. Oh, unfortunately for them, Cade is just firing a little too strong. Absolutely decimated.
Oh my goodness.
And with a combining from heaven, that is Onryos getting 12 and absolutely decimating the H4K half buy towards A.
Well, that didn't work. Walling Wizards, this is essentially your last chance at trying to make something happen. If you can win this one and win the next round, you can push this into overtime, but otherwise, you're just going to have to be kissing your most played map goodbye over to Onryos, and heading into the next one, Nuke 2, Onryos has the home court advantage, so Walling Wizards, now you've got a big question. You know, what can you do here? Now it's time to prove yourself, because again, like you said a little bit earlier almost, there are no second chances.
It is do or die if Walling Wizards want to make map 1 into something. Their map pick definitely would be a bit of a devastating loss to lose their own map pick against this Onryos defense. This Onryos defense. But good news, a bright light, a shining bit of hope for the H4K attack. 2 opening frags go their way and give themselves yet another 3 versus 5 man advantage early. Ooh, but the player, Cade goes huge, gets a 2K swing, and makes this an actual doable retake round for Onryos. With the flank coming in, see if Taco is able to continue his hero saga, his hero arc, and make... Ooh. Unfortunately for him, though, the plot armor has expired. He is absolutely wiped, and it is just JT5 left to save for round 24.
Yeah, bomb is just going to tick down until the last couple seconds. They might try to get an exit frag.
He gets the exit pick.
Does go their way.
I do think they're going to be able to rebuy on H4K's side, but definitely not a death you want to be taking.
And they get the
either side of the equation. JT5 loses his head as well by the player coming in through mid, so the op is not going to get saved over. Does look like they've got plenty of money, though. They're going to be able to rebuy it. Not the worst loss in the world. This is going to be a all hands on deck, full buy for both sides of the equation to try to see if overtime is required or we're heading to map 2.
It's hard to say. I do want to say that this is overtime territory because that off is absolutely huge. Wizards needed to get that offline, and now that they have it in their hands, this is going to be a little bit harder for Onryos.
A lot of util exchanged early, but no fight has gone either way yet. No lives have been taken, but Blink has played quite forward, has snuck all the way through A main. He's got his teammate in tow as well, so Canals is being called. There's nobody home, but unfortunately, his teammate gets absolutely popped. Kriz just destroys the player trying to sneak up into Rugs and gives the early man advantage towards H4K. Onryos are going to be playing from behind for one of the few and only rounds they've had to. Oh, but no, Dark looks like he was just like, maybe he's looking at his mini-map, just doesn't see the player on the side of his screen. Not a 4x3 moment, that's a 1x1 moment. Man just was in letterbox mode, did not see the player in the open, pushing through Rugs, and he's going to get 2 off of it, allowed 2 trade backs, and then it's going to make this a competitive round yet again for Onryos.
Falling asleep at the wheel, definitely not, definitely something that shouldn't be in your playbook as the Wizards, especially when you're at a bit of a deficit, but a nice couple flash lineups. He's going to confirm that A site is in the cards for this team.
Might just be a bit of a fake here. Does look like H4K is just elected to run back towards B, and they are about to find out very soon that it is open for business, open for the taking. The only player who's even close to being nearby is the player's street, and with a smoke, and the bombs just not landed in a way where he has vision. JT5 can't really get anything with the op, especially if he's missing shots. Ooh, that is a freaking freaking madman runs through his own teammate's molly to pick the kill up onto Palace, but unfortunately for him, I don't think it was quite the right call. It leaves Killcam left alone in the 1 versus 2, expected to clutch up. First frag is good from Killcam though, leaves JT5 to try to clutch up with the op, and the shot is true, and Boo Crew have taken it in regulation. Map 1 goes the way of Onryos.
Pretty darn close, but at the end of the day, Onryos are going to be the victor of map number 1. I do think that that was a Taco versus Ox Taco versus honestly, I want to say Dark. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of them are hitting some really clean shots, but Ox, of course, topping the leaderboard for the CT side. But man, oh man, Amos, what was your favorite play in that in that entire debacle there?
My favorite play. That's a tough thing. You know what? I still think that, pardon my French, that Deagle play at double doors by, I'm not sure who it was, whenever Onryos was on defense, or maybe it was H4K, I can't remember, where they got the 2 1-deags back-to-back, just pow-pow. That was sexy as hell, if I say so myself.
C'est magnifique, as they say. You know, you were talking about French just a little bit there.
Très bien.
Yeah, très bien, très bien. Very, very good indeed. You gotta.
Nah, but we're not gonna say too much more French. We don't want you guys to cringe.
True, of course. You know, I apologize. But as far as one of my favorite plays, that one has to go to ADN. They running through the molly and getting a kill is absolute style points. Again, might not have been the right play, but come on, you gotta respect the goal on that guy to run through danger, run through the fire and the flames, and still come out swinging with a nice little trade. But man, oh man, that's a lot of action for me. I don't know about you, but I think I will need a bit of a water break. I do think that the players probably want a bit of a water break, especially the Wizards, because they lost on their map that they had 6 games on. Definitely a big upset for them. Almost anything else?
You know, I can't really say anything other than I think we might just have a series on our hand, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary carries. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Resting on my chest, I guess that my shoulder is all you get. When you moved around, yeah, that's where it all fell, oh, to the ground, baby. And you like to move in silence, baby, so do I. This could either be hell or a paradise. Talking to your friends, baby, so do I. About you. We both know it's too late. I forgot I lied to you. We both know it's too late. I forgot I lied to you. Who said we can't forget even if it don't last? Baby, when I get up in it, you forget the past. I'll make sure to cut all of the strings that get attached, and you make sure to call me every time you want me back. I love the way you say my name, say my name. And make me feel so medicated. I love the way you say my name, say my name. You like to move in silence, baby, so do I. This could either be hell or a paradise. Talking to your friends, baby, so do I. About both know it's too late. I forgot I lied to you. We both know it's too late. I forgot I lied to you. Now we both know it's too late. I forgot I lied to you. Forgot I lied. Now we both know it's too late. I forgot I lied to you. Forgot I lied. Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Hello, Ed.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to CSC NA Stream A. This is map 2 of the quarterfinals. It is the Onryos versus H4K. Onryos have taken the first map in the series. It was H4K's pick, so unless H4K have a lot to answer back with, it does look like Onryos are going to be sweeping the series. But it is Nuke. Anything can happen at Cedar Creek. Let's see what they've got in store for us.
Yeah, it's certainly hard to say. There is something to be said for maybe Wizards maybe being a little bit shaken, maybe a little bit of stage fright. Maybe today isn't their day, but the Onryos have a 100% win rate in this map, so I do think home court advantage is going to go to them. But in terms of the stats, is this a T-sided map?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
It is a CT-sided map,
Okay.
for sure. Defenders have such positional advantage, and for the attackers, it is very, very difficult to get anything going. You have to spend a lot of util to do almost anything on this map, or get very, very lucky with quick hits and just hope that the defenders are caught off guard. But right now, it does look like Onryos have elected to take this one nice and slow. Ooh, Vent Drop has paid off with nothing for them. And that's going to encourage the A hit to be coming in nice and fast. And a kill is collected on the Onryos side, so the bomb is going to be going down, but it is a 4 versus 4 retake from H4K. And with first kill going their way, it does look like it is going to be a tough round for them to claw back. But with the pistol shots coming true for Onryos, finding their marks, it has been cut down to a 2 versus 2, a 2 versus 1, and then a 2 versus 0. Onryos take the first pistol.
Honestly, not
They do
too
need
bad.
a dopamine hit.
I think that was a really nice dopamine hit, winning the first map. And, you know, one thing I did want to mention is that you said that on this map, especially for the Ts, it is going to come down to a lot of quick shots. I do think that Onryos is extremely comfortable with hitting a lot of these quick shots. As we've seen in map number 1, Taco Brick, it absolutely comes to mind. He was hitting some ridiculous shots on basically any gun that you could imagine. So I do think he's going to be pretty happy going into this one. I think the same could be said for Blink and Ox. They were all insanely good fraggers on that map.
Fast punch coming in from H4K on their save, and it is cut down. Nothing left. Absolutely fried, and Onryos get the conversion. Easy as pie.
That was certainly one of the quickest rounds, if not the quickest round in the series. Maybe you could fact check me on that one, but I think I might have missed it. You know, I blinked a little bit too long, rubbed my eyes just a little bit, but I guess that just goes to show that you can't take your eyes off of this game, because again, Walling Wizards, they were previously in the driver's seat in terms of this little competitive beef, because they beat Onryos 13-4 on Dust 2, so maybe they got a little bit too overconfident.
You say you can't take your eyes off the screen when it comes to this game. I'm pretty good at it. I don't even play with my monitor on.
Oh, really? Okay. See,
Yeah,
a lot
just
of
ask my teammates.
I mean, is it, would they say good things, or?
No, the joke is that I'm bad.
Okay, well, I was gonna make the same joke, but now I gotta try to be original and think of something else. So there's a kill.
Original coming in yet again, but it is shut down. Unfortunately, Onryos cut down to cinders, and it is all onto the shoulders of JT5 to try to salvage the round, but it is a 1 versus 4 ahead of him, and the bomb is down in no man's land. So good luck, son. It's time to go up big or just head for the hills.
Finally, a bit of fresh air for the Wizards, but I don't think they're giving any breathing room to JT5.
Spots the feet of the Mustang player, but he's traded back. JT5 is felled, and Walling Wizards get their first on the map.
A bit of a sigh of relief. They are going to be able to afford a pretty solid buy here, but Onryos looking to, you know, match that full buy with a bunch of util and a bunch of rifles themselves. Honestly, I guess it does make sense. You know, in this map, you got to get any advantage you can, because, you know, with CTs being the stronger side, obviously any rounds that you can win on this T side, the weaker side is going to be putting you miles ahead once we switch over to that second half. But for now, Wizards, I mean, hopefully they get a little bit more confidence, otherwise they are just going to get steamrolled.
It was just a bonus round for the Onryos, so losing round 3 isn't the worst thing. It's not quite like map 1 where everybody went down. Speaking of everybody going down, holy, the 2K spray is so true. JT5 and Ox both lose their lives. There's one trade back happening from the AK of Taco. but unfortunately, that is the outside hit shut down quite heavily from H4K's defense.
Pretty heavy shutout, but I do think that in terms of hitting the site, they do have a pretty solid plan here. They've completely cut noise, and they could be running into each other quite soon, creeping up this hallway.
Ooh, the dropped gun. The exchanging of weapons is going to give a little bit of an alarm bell over to Spawns, and his team is just so good. His teammate is so good with it as well. Combining together, Lobby is held decisively, and Walling Wizards shore up the scoreline. It is now a 2-2.
Walling Wizards starting to give the Onryos a bit of a taste of their own medicine in terms of the econ department. They're kind of running away with this. Definitely not as rich as Onryos in map number 1, especially in the later half, especially in the later rounds of the game, but still miles ahead, dare I say. So probably going to be able to comfortably buy for this round and possibly the next round if Onryos are able to somehow find a way back into this game immediately with these pistols.
Vent dive does prove to be quite good for Ox, but his teammate, he gets clipped trying to make it down the vent as well. And Ox soon after loses his life. On top of it is just onto the shoulders of JT5 and Taco. Nice shot out of Taco there. Absolutely decimates the player coming in from J-Hall. It's going to give a rifle over to his teammate, but still a long road ahead of them if they want to make something in this round. Fortunately, a little bit of a treacherous road. One too tough to pass, and Walling Wizards take the lead.
The lead for now is going to be doing them quite a lot of mileage. Again, this is the stronger side, so I'm hoping that I don't get overconfident, because I think that is what happened to them once they started turning around the first half of map number 1, you know. Previously, again, yesterday, they were down quite a few rounds on the stronger side. They found their way back in. Maybe they were feeling themselves a little bit too much, and Onryos ran away with it. Right now, they won three rounds back to back to back. I'm hoping that they don't get that same feeling again, and we just see a run back with map
Dark is being a brave boy right now, absolutely charging all the way to the red box to try to find the opening frag, and he does. Destroys Dark. He's traded back though, only going one there. I do appreciate the tenacity. I like the change up of the play, but it does not go perfectly well for him. Getting one and done there is not the best position, and it allows Boo Crew to sneak their way down secret and set up towards the B side of the map. Nobody's home on the B defense either, so if Boo Crew take a peek, if they poke their nose in through either side of that B site, they will find that it is quite vacant. Spawns has been elected, has been volunteered to fill the gap, but the smoke being the smoke going down to the nade, not quite finding its mark. Ooh, and especially with Taco shutting him down entirely, that is going to be a free bomb plant for the Onryos, and it is all onto the shoulders of Priz to try to retake, and it does look like he is choosing not to do so. Going to go ahead and just try to save the remaining rifle and get out of there with his life if he can. Does pick up the op, good for the economy of H4K, but the round is going to go Boo Crew.
A very scrappy round, though. I will say we saw a lot of very quick fights and definitely a lot of util exchange. You were not lying when you said that it takes a lot to do a little bit on this map. But thankfully for the Onryos, they did find quite a bit. But wait, shot? No, I thought the player was.
Nah, he's on the other side of the planet. But you know, if he shot there, that would have been silly because you know that would have definitely been an admin. He's walling, kick him moment, but. Nah.
Or just like an incredibly lucky shot.
True. You know,
we never know. Listen, I'm not advocating you.
No
cheat.
one would ever cheat in CSC.
Yeah, exactly, because this is where all the real matches happen. Majors, that's nothing. This is where it is. This is the pinnacle of creativity. This is the pinnacle of planning, and this is the pinnacle of gunplay. And Onryos able to use their gunplay to tie this one up 3-3. Slower start here.
Not a slower round. Nobody's doing anything too quickly. Top Hut's gonna get mauled though. That's gonna force the Hut player to drop down below. Gonna play towards Tetris, but still nobody is home. Nobody's elected to even move off of that molly. It's just to clear the position early. Maybe get them guessing H4K's defense guessing towards the A side of the map, but that is not where the action is about to happen. There is a lot of bodies stacked up outside ramp. It is going to be spawns to be tested, but with an MP9 to his name, only gun in play, it looks like it's going to be a tough fight for him, and absolutely not something that he can handle. Way too many players, way too much asked out of him, and he just gets felled with nothing, and that allows the B site to be taken basically for free by Boo Crew.
Opening the door, not even.
Single door though, player goes huge, gets 2, wins the first fight, and is able to very quickly and easily pivot over towards the bomb planter, but Boo Crew answer back with 2 of their own, and it leaves Riz yet again all alone, trying to clutch up this time though, selecting not to save. He's going to be a brave boy, he's going to try to go for it. But JP5 holding the line, and with his shot being a little too true, Onryos take the lead right back, and it is a 4-3 half for them.
Onryos looking quite strong here. I do want to note that a lot of their util in that round has kind of shifted, or at least the opening couple Molotovs did manage to shift in use style, if that makes any sense. Mainly because Onryos really wanted to use it, knowing where the Wizards were playing. You know, the Wizards have held very similar positions in the round prior, and these mollies, they weren't going to try to kill them, but they definitely wanted to shove them into more open spots so that they could gun them down. And once they got the position, they definitely took advantage of it.
Economic dire straits for H4K. They've just elected to get some upgraded pistols to work with, and that does look like it's going to be Boo Crew to be collecting on them, unless these pistols can find quite a few nice shots. Okay, 5-7 on kill cam, does find the first shot. He's even spraying to try to cancel a refrag potential, but nobody is home. That player on Boo is just felled with nothing to answer for, and a lot of damage going the way of both sides. H4K 2 players are brought down to half, but Ox is walking very, very weakly right now. 15 HP left to his name.
It's a harder situation here, but Onryos, I was just going to say, they are even in numbers.
What a shot out of Dark. Absolutely decimates them. And one from his teammate, too.
Gosh.
ADN gets a singular one tap as well, and that is just Boo Crew evaporates against the upgraded pistols. It is all under the shoulders of Cade, but with the bomb down on the other side of the world, on the other side of the universe, it does look like that is going to be Onryos losing what was just a against what was just a pistol buy to H4K.
They just missed each
Bit of
other.
a disaster.
I think Cade just walked past one of the players. They just didn't look at each other.
Maybe, yeah, sure they could have just timinged each other. I mean, I
think that's what happened.
It is that type of map. Sometimes that happens. You don't want to... Sometimes you just don't clear every last possible thing. He's going to get a free kill into the side, but that's a consolation prize at best. Boo Crew are going to lose. Oh, man, he's not even going to be able to escape with his life. Gets traded back by Killcam. And H4K get a miracle round, work some pistol magic, and tie the score back up.
Absolutely. Walling Wizards using a little bit of their magic here, but one thing I did want to ask you, Amos, is if Walling Wizards are a bunch of wizards, who would you say is Gandalf?
I don't know. Gandalf isn't on this map, unfortunately. That's on Dust 2.
Oh, I see. Well, if I had to give a guess, I would probably say, I would probably give it to ADN, because I do think they have been working most magic here, and I do think they are one of the forces of this team.
I'd say Killcam is probably Gandalf, because Gandalf does die.
I see. That is very true.
Counter-terrorists win.
Falling Wizards get an easy conversion. All they had to work with on the Boo Crew side was just some pistols, and they absolutely get mowed down completely and totally. Money is still not in the best position for Boo Crew. They are going to be able to fully buy, at least in terms of rifles, but the utility is going to be a little lacking on some of these players.
It's going to be lacking a little bit, and especially on a map like this, you need all the util you could get. So, Walling Wizards, if this isn't an easy round, I could hear the alarm bells start to ring in their heads, because this could be a very tough.
Not necessarily an easy round, but it is certainly going to be a little bit less labor than it might be. So all the opening, basically every last piece of util Boo Crew had was just spent on that opening smoke wall outside. Ooh, Blink tries to get a little cheeky with it and gets shut down, pushing through the smoke. Tacos also felled. 5 versus 3 man advantage goes H4K, and unfortunately for the Boo Crew, it is not getting any better. The op finds its mark, pops, and pops the player trying to sneak through garage, and it is 4 versus 5 expected.
Ooh.
JT5 gets a nice frag onto the player towards ramp, but it is still a long way to go if they want to make something out of this round. And JT5 himself is a walking dead man. Teammate is similarly so. Head popped.
Ooh.
JT5 trades back, but he's still on 15 HP, and his position is still known. And unfortunately for him, it does look like the time is not in his favor as well. Only 50 seconds remained, and not a single... Well, he's got a... Was that a flashbang? He's got a flashbang to work with, and not much else.
Not too bad, but when it comes to trying to clear out a lot of these angles, they are going to need a little bit more than a flashbang. Probably going to need a miracle to try to flush out this op from Dark. You know,
I don't know. I think he might need a dopamine hit. What do you say?
You know what? He does need a dopamine hit. Quick, give us your best animal sound impression. That'll work. I promise. All right, JT5, you have all the inspiration you need to try to pull off this 1v3. They're going to be entering on site. Never mind.
Nice flick out of Grizz. Absolutely wipes JT5 out of existence, and H4K get their 6th round.
I think we powered up the wrong player. I think we powered up Chris there, because that was definitely one of the crispiest flicks that we have seen in this series.
Flicks.
It took the words right out of my mouth. The crispiest flicks. Although we did see some pretty nasty flicks on map 1, but that was just an added layer of awesomeness.
Yeah, no kidding. And it's still economic dire straits for Boo Crew. Even at a 2-round deficit, they are still forced to save. They're still forced to just try to give pistols another go. It worked out for H4K. Maybe it'll work for them, but not if the players of the Walling Wizards are firing true. So far, it does look like they are doing so. The first frag goes the way of them. Tacos gets one of his own, but he's traded back. Oh no, his teammate is traded back, and then him as well following suit. Blink gets a nice kill, hits a nice shot from the top of a marshmallow, but he loses his life for it, and it is all onto JT5, but with only a pistol to his name, and nothing else. There's nothing left for him to do but die, and Walling Wizards get their 7th.
I was just gonna say that's a very similar situation to the round that we had last time, but it does look like Walling Wizards shut them down significantly faster than last time. That's gonna be the tech pause from Onryos. Honestly, I do think that they should just kind of chill out. You know, they've got 4 rounds to their name. Obviously, that's not the greatest start when it comes to this map, but with how CT-sided it is, I don't think that they're gonna be too mad about this. But if we had to give a guess as to what they are saying, this is going to be another full buy from them. If they do lose this round, they are going to be broke as a joke.
It's the last round and a half, so they're full buying regardless, but I appreciate the enthusiasm.
Of course, yeah. I knew that. I was testing you. You see, because...
Oh, you were testing me. I appreciate it.
Honestly,
look.
in games
I didn't know I was in school.
Hey, listen, man, I'm significantly older than you. You call me the professor, all right? I'm the professor.
Speaking of getting schooled, though, it looks like Boo Crew has been getting schooled in the back half of this nuke T side. Let's see if they can change the streak, but... okay, I thought Cade was just on a pistol there for a second. I was about to be like, hello? Where's your gun, big man? But, there it is. Oh, his teammate's gun's gone, though. Dark full just absolutely flattens his teammate, sees a pixel through the smoke, and just capitalizes on it hugely. JT5 answers one back onto ADN, but Dark is allowed to escape with his life. Another frag goes the way of H4K. How about another one? Dark gets yet another, and it is a 2 versus 3 expected out of Tacos and Ox to prevent this from being an 8-4 half.
Strangely doable, though. Strangely doable. Tacos has hit some meaty shots. Same with Ox. Oh my goodness, if there is a duo that can pull this off.
Oh, Dark's about to. Oh no. Okay, he saves himself by electing to go down the ladder. He climbs down to his safety, but there is a player waiting over towards the B site. Spons is going to go for a peek towards ramp, and it's going to allow a free plant to come in. He goes to clear his back, and unfortunately, his front was what was in danger. Bomb is going to be allowed to be planted, but it is still a man advantage for H4K and an HP advantage as well. Ox is walking wounded, 29 HP to his name. It is a 2 versus 3 expected out of the 2 remaining Boo crew, but it is now a 1 versus 3. It's all onto Taco. He was the hero of Anubis. Let's see if he's the hero of this round. Unfortunately, he is shut down as well. And H4K end the half with 8 on their CT side.
Honestly, it's, you know, it could have been a 7-5, but unfortunately, it did look like Walling Wizards did get the best of them. Again, like, the positions were amazing. The shot through the smoke to open up the round by Dark definitely made this, definitely made the last round in the half a lot easier to deal with. But now Onryos going to be on the strong side on one of their stronger maps. I wonder how this is going to change for them. I'm hoping that they can swing back a little bit more, just so that this map is a little bit closer, and we maybe even get a map 3 on Inferno, which would be quite interesting because Wizards have a 0% win rate on it, and Onryos have never played it this season. So it could be pretty interesting. But regardless, heading into this one, I do think that I am going to be favoring Onryos' chances here.
We shall see if they can rally back on their CT side. It is not impossible to come back from this position, but you definitely do want to really try to get this pistol round to try to prevent yourself from playing too far in the hole, too far from in the hole. It's going to be a fast lobby crunch coming out of them, a lot of ferocity, a lot of energy coming. Ooh, the dualies are just firing so true. Each dually player collecting 1 apiece, and no trade frags being back. The teams are just getting pushed back into their own spawn. They're getting absolutely decimated. Onryos take the second pistol. That is both pistol rounds in this map collected by them, and that is them giving themselves a chance in the second half, starting early.
I think that Cade 1v3ing on the dual Berettas should be a big warning sign for the Walling Wizards because, you know, like you were saying, Onryos were playing this as if they were teased because they were being pushed right back into their spawn. That was some amazing, a lot of great space control, no doubt, but a lot of nice shots too. Wizards, I don't think they could really look towards that angle anymore. Otherwise, Cade's just going to be there to shut it down.
Oh, that was just an absolute, like, I really love the tenacity out of them. And yet again, Cade is just headhunting, pops the head of Killcam, absolutely decimates him with the MP9. Obviously, if you don't have armor, the MP9 is one of the last things you want to be fighting against. Absolutely can just destroy you, full sprinting, and he does indeed pop the head right off the Killcam. Just a few pistols on the remaining few players of H4K, and it looks like it's going to be a done deal here very, very soon, because the Onryos are hunting them down.
Yeah, it's hunting season, and unfortunately, the Wizards are on the list. And that's a nasty shot onto ADN.
Like a nice little scout, a little bit of a doinker with the scout. You do like to see it. It's all onto Spawns, but all he's got to work with is an SMG. He's gonna try to chase down the scout player. That is a pretty free and easy frag if you're an SMG against a scout user, but that's a consolation prize at best. Spawns' position is known. He's gonna elect to swap over to the scout. Maybe he can hit a few doinkers of his own, but his position is now known.
Yep.
So 1 versus 1 from the player Blue Box. Gonna be tested. They're playing the aim trainer map, and unfortunately, Spawns' aim was not quite true enough to get more than 1 there, and that is Onryos making it a 2-round game.
Honestly, not too bad. Onryos, once again, they've just swung back hard and mighty on this second half. Walling Wizards not really able to find a lot of answers. That being said, I do think that pushing the scout player was a good call from the Wizards. Gives them a little bit of money in their pocket to get this nice full buy online. The one thing that I hope is that they don't fall into the same trap as map number 1, because as we saw, Onryos just won round after round after round after round, and Wizards just kind of kept being forced into pistol wizards.
The economy was just so bored. The lobby crunch almost went disastrously wrong for Boo Crew, but they managed to clean it up. They managed to trade back, and they forced H4K into a 3 versus 3. They are going to take the free outside space, but there is a player down towards B to receive. Cade goes lazily cleared, and he gets 2. No, huge. Gets 2.5, take 1 on the 3rd, but the damage quite literally is done. Onryos is able to trade back their teammate on B's heroic effort and make it a 1-round game. and they win the first gun round.
Onryos with some amazing trades there. I don't think we can really understate how much that they are, you know, dare I say, reading the Wizards like a book, you know, reading the Wizards like a spell book, in fact, as that's another tech pause coming, or tactical pause, excuse me, from the Wizards. I can't imagine what they're going to be saying, but I really do hope that they are talking about map number 1, because we're seeing a very similar situation where this economy spiraled way, way, way out of control for Onryos.
The Wizards are just kind of falling into the same trap they did on map 1. Like, they're like they're swinging off of each other, like they're playing together, but they're not really working together. It's hard to describe. Like, they're peeking together, but they're just not like trading properly, and it's really biting them a lot of these rounds. Like, even when they had the man advantage, even when the first 2 fights went their way, they just got like traded back, and then whenever they tried to hit into that lower sight, there was only one player to defend, and the one player was able to just do so much work all by himself just because he wasn't like killed after he got any kind of traction. It's just, hopefully they're able to like rectify that mistake and play more together, but unfortunately for them right now, it is Boo Crew just kind of running away with it. 3 rounds in a row, and another one very soon, more than likely, as H4K is forced onto pistols yet again.
Another force on the pistols, and again, historically, these have not really gone their way, and with how Onryos have been playing the CT side, I do think it's going to be hunting season yet again. The firing squad is just going to be looking for the Wizards as if they are playing this T side.
A couple of MAC-10s are the only upgrades they've got to work with. Cade is going to be tested here very soon. And he gets traded back. That was a little bit of a nice moment for H4K. The lineup was good from Cade, but unfortunately he was just only good for 1, and the bomb is going to get planted on the B side of the map. But Ox is here to try to prevent it, and he does in fact get the planter off the position. The fight is so dirty, so down and dirty, so close. It really is tough to try to hit a shot whenever somebody's peeking you like 90 degrees that fast on your screen, and he loses his life for it. It leaves JT5 in such an awkward position. He's going to have to save the op for another day, and the Hail Mary ramp hit with just pistols and a couple of MAC-10s works hugely for H4K, and they're able to get their 9th off of it.
It's going to be a really nice conversion, a bit of a breath air, oh my goodness, a bit of a breath of fresh air is what I meant to say for the Wizards as this bomb starts to tick down, but I don't think that's really going to be anywhere near enough to get them out of the woodworks. I think that was a bit of a lucky round there, because as we saw in the beginning, Cade was staring down 2 or 3 players in that smoke. They were all lined up, as the Wizards really do love to play. Like you mentioned earlier, they swing together, they shoot together, but they all line up, and we've seen some devious spray transfers from the side of Onryos. For Cade, that could have been so much more, and I think that's if it was his day today, or maybe even more of his day, because he's doing quite well, I think that he would have been able to find 2 or even 3, potentially even 4 kills off of that one play.
It's just unfortunate. Like, we've all definitely been there when we see like 4 or 5 players on our screen, and you just can't quite figure out who you want to shoot at exactly, so you kind of just shoot in between all of them. You take the average of everyone, but that's not how this game works. We ain't playing no Valorante child game. There is no free kills. There is no aim assistance. So unless you are dead on, you are a dead man. And unfortunately, the ramp player was in fact a dead man. Cade was felled, and that was the B site taken for free.
Absolutely it is. But now look at it.
A rebuy here for Boo, though. They do have enough money to try to give it another go to prevent H4K from running away with that little bit of momentum that they got, but it is not the best of buys. What were you going to say?
Well, honestly, I was just going to say that this is a new round, it's a new story, but the Wizards are starting to turn the narrative a little bit. They are up in players, but I don't know how long that is going to last, because, again, I think the confidence from Onryos needs to be studied. They are insanely confident here, and they're not going to be giving up anything for free.
Taco was felled early. He was instrumental to the Onryos' first map, so let's see if they can do it without him. First fight goes the way of H4K, but damage is done in return. 2 players are not at the best of HP thresholds. Chris, though, is going to get a nice flank, but with only a MAC-10 to work with, that is not quite the best position, not quite the best weapon for that type of flank play. He's only going to be good for 1, and it's going to leave ADN 1 versus 2 alone to try to salvage the round as his team falls around him. The Molotov thrown, his position down. Now the clean first shot onto the player swinging back. It's now onto JT5's shoulders, but the nade is so good. Down to 6 HP. He's going to play a little bit of hide-and-go seek simulator against JT5. Who is going to spot who first? The tension is building, and the time is ticking down. Fortunately for JT5, he tries to climb, tries to sneak his way through the smoke, but ADN is on the case and just blasts him right out of existence.
Yeah, the AWP is definitely not the best gun at clearing these smokes, I will say. You know, as inexperienced and as you know, quite frankly, terrible as I am, if there is one thing I know, it's that you don't want to take the AWP into a smoke, especially in these very clutch situations, because the player is likely backside. But at the same time, when you're in these tense situations, you kind of, you gotta work with what you got. The AWP is still definitely one of the strongest guns in the game, but at close range, again, it was a tough call, but congratulations to the Wizards for able to strike back once again. But this is going to be a bit of a tech pause, which does give these teams a little bit of time.
We'll be right back
talk.
Whenever that is resolved. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Tech issues resolved. It is map 2. It is the Onryos versus the Walling Wizards. It is the map pick of Onryos, but they are down a few rounds, but they are on the stronger side. So let's see if they can pull it over the line, or if H4K takes us to map 3. Ox kind of breaks his toe there on the ground, takes a little bit of damage, doesn't quite get on top of Hut. It's just some pistols to work with for Onryos, so nade is devastating onto Taco, and he loses his life shortly after. 4-on-4 now, and upgraded guns versus the pistols. Does look like H4K is just going to be tapping this one in. Pretty clean and free round, most would say. But we have seen a lot of work of these pistols throughout the series. Ooh, especially if JT5 goes uncleared, and he might not get perfectly. He's not getting cleared. Folks, clear your corners because you don't want this to happen. Well, you definitely don't want that to happen either. JT5 only good for 1. Unfortunately, he's only able to get 1 for his trouble.
Picture's complete.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, now they know where literally every player is, which is going to help them kind of narrow down where they could be playing on the site, which is going to make it a little bit easier, but the Wizards, you're feeling happy about that one.
Yeah, just definitely just walking right on the site. The gun's just not there to try to make anything happen for a retake, and Walling Wizards get to 11. Man, it's so sad to see somebody in a position like that where they're like playing a corner spot and they get uncleared, because you know in that player's head he's like, damn, I wish I had a 5-7 instead of the stupid Deagle, because at least the 5-7 you can kind of just spam pop pop pop. Deagle, you're really only good for 1, but just like nobody clears him. It's so sad. But you know, hey, what are you gonna do? At least they got a couple of kills and they're able to rebuy into this round.
certainly a nice consultation prize, but again, right, especially if you do have a rare opportunity like that, you want to make the most of it. But again, maybe shot's just not going his way. But in this round, a bit of a slower opening, but a couple duels around box. Ooh, he's gonna go the way of the Wizards.
He's traded back. 4-on-4 still. Ooh, JT5 gets another one around red box, but he doesn't have enough ammo to get any more. And just trade after trade after trade. It is now a 2 versus 2, but Killcam is low HP, so it is still a favored round for the Onryos.
How much is
Spons
it gonna
has
be?
creeped his way out onto A. He might go completely and totally overlooked, but he's clearing. Unfortunately for him, he's clearing Mustang, but nobody's home. Backside is where the action is, and it's all onto Killcam's shoulders, but with 11 HP to his name, it is a tough road ahead for him. Does look like the bomb site, the lower bomb site that is going to be free and open for business, but planting the bomb is one thing, protecting it until it detonates is another, and the Onryos are hungry to try to stop that from happening.
Absolute position known though. Cade gonna be waiting atop
Oh,
the
the
staircase.
shadow betrays him
Yeah.
so hard. Cade gets the freest frag of his life, and that is Onryos to get 8.
It's, you know, it's certainly very good, but Wizards are definitely close to winning this game as a whole, which is going to be pushing us to a map 3. Again, if they're able to get there, on the side of the Onryos, they just need to win a few more rounds, and then they could potentially push it to overtime, if not outright win it in basically a reverse sweep in terms of rounds, which would be quite nice. But I don't think the Wizards are going to be letting them go that easy. Obviously, they did lose this round, so they are going to be forcing quite a bit here. But if this does go sour for the Wizards, I don't think they're going to be getting much chances back into this one.
Both teams are going to be able to rebuy going into this round. Thankfully for H4K, not so much for Onryos, but still anybody's game. The guns are true, so as I said before, the gun rounds are where the real action happens. Let's see who's got what it takes to close this game out. Both teams, even though there's a 3-round deficit on the Onryos side, it won't take very long to close that distance if they shoot with the same ferocity they had the last round. Spons is brought low early. Nade finds its mark and absolutely blasts him away, down to just 1 bullet's worth of health remaining on him. Blink is going to be taking a little bit of a peek towards Hut, but nobody's home just yet. But perhaps very soon there will be someone there to contest. Dark is holding the angle towards Tetris, but nobody has elected to step out of line. Blink is going to go even further into Hut. Action is going to be heading his way very soon. Oh, Dark is found through the smoke by H4K, and Blink gets one of his own, and the player is spotted lobby, so that is going to reveal that is going to give up the game. It was an A hit all along, and unfortunately for H4K, that is where Onryos have elected to stack, where Onryos have elected to bolster their defenses, and H4K is very soon set to crumble away to nothing, and it is Kriz left in the 1 versus 4, just looking to try to get away with his life, but the round is booze.
Yeah, it's all but signed, sealed, and delivered here. They just got to wait for that timer to count down to absolute 0. But it's a very, very hard situation for the Wizards. And, you know, I will praise the restraint from Onryos, though. They don't want to give anything over for free. They're just opting to hold their positions, which is phenomenal because when we opened up with the side swap, they were definitely doing the complete opposite. And if we were still in those early rounds, we would have seen them try to push Kriz here. But regardless, the main point I want to make is that the Wizards, they don't really have anything left in terms of the money. I mean, they will be decently okay heading into this next round, but if they do lose this next round, that will be wrapped. It might not say it in rounds, but I don't think they're going to be getting a lot left.
Oh, they don't have enough money for a buy. Dark is on 2K, Spons is on less than 3K. That is a save, if I ever saw one. I guess they're going to hedge their bets, though. I guess they're going to buy around it, but man, that is... that is not the best of buys. That is not a best buy. That is not even a Target. That's not even a Walmart buy. That might be a Walmart buy. That's a great value in purchase. Yeah. Just a MAC-10 and a Deagle on one of the players. A few rifles in play, but the utility's a little lacking. So H4K have got to hit some crazy shots if they're going to make something out of this round, because Onryos does have the superior weapon rate. Op does find its mark, but the player outside finds one as well. Kriz has been able to sneak all the way towards Up Secret and towards Garage. So Blink is about to have a pretty disastrous wake-up call if Kriz is allowed to take all the space towards heaven, which he is slowly but surely doing so. Cade finds one on the other side of the map, but the main action is coming in from underneath hell, from underneath heaven towards hell, as the flank, the pincer, is coming in more and more. Dark is making quite a lot of noise towards ramp, just trying to keep eyes towards him, and it pays off with dividends. The ramp player is pincered and shot in the side. CSC is going to accelerate towards A, but does not expect the player to be peeking him from the Mustang. Oh, and his teammate gets stuck on the ladder, absolutely just gets fried. His body hanging in the open, unable to fight back, completely helpless, gets slaughtered by the Onryos, and they now have collected double digits, and it is a one-round game.
I mean, listen, if you were calling last round a great value buy for the Wizards, I don't even know what you'd call this round, aside from maybe a discount bin or a dumpster buy, because this is looking absolutely...
a homeless buy.
Whatever it is absolutely horrid. The Onryos looking to probably just stomp Wizards on this one and potentially next round as well.
Well, you know, I've said this plenty of times before. A Tech 9 in hand does mean the round is never over. Some might say that this weapon is overpowered, including me. It is disgusting what it can do in the right hands. First kill goes the way of H4K. They just accelerated on that ramp position after they forced the Opper off. And unfortunately for the Opper, the combat ops were just not true enough. But unfortunately for H4K, elsewhere on the map, their teammates are felled, and it is all left onto ADN to try to make something happen. But with only a CZ-75 to work with and the bomb down in no man's land, it is quite the task, and I do not think they have it quite in them.
It's a tall order. They are able to get an upgrade, which is going to be nice. Is it going to be enough to win the round? That's a tough call.
Probably maybe they not. But, you know, I've seen crazier things happen. Anything can happen. It is Counter-Strike, but with his position now known, guess he gets to try to play aim trainer, play a little bit of a pre-fire map, see if he can catch somebody peeking out of turn, but nobody's giving him anything for free. Discipline is too good from Boo Crew, and as the seconds tick down further and further, only 17 left. It is not much time to do anything but die, and he does in fact do so, and Onryos tie up the score. It is now a 2-round game either way.
Yeah, not looking the greatest for the Wizards. Again, they are able to scrape together something nice, but if this does go sour, like their last force did, this is going to be wraps. I mean, hey, anything can happen, like you said, but I think the way that the Onryos are playing, I don't think they're going to be giving the Wizards a lot of chances to actually get back into this game, even if this round does go their way. You know, we could be seeing an overtime situation, or we could be seeing Onryos run away with a clean 2-0.
Full buy coming out of H4K, so they do have, including nades, so they do have the ability to try to play more proper Seaside move. Oh, the desperation can be just seen on both teams. Both teams really don't want to let it go away. A spam fight through the smoke happens. Does go the way of H4K eventually. Ooh, and yet another frag goes the way of Kriz, and that is going to be the A site. One singular piece left before it falls completely. Blink does get one, but he's shot down to nothing before, just shot down to almost nothing before then, and the trade frag is going to come in very quickly. It's all onto JT5 with an op. But, oh, he finds the player outside. I didn't even notice that through the kill cam. He gets a huge frag on the player trying to flank around, and it's now just onto Sponce's shoulders to try to win the 1v1 to see who is playing for overtime and who is playing for overtime and who's playing to win it all. Or take us to map 3, rather.
It's a hard call to say, but it is going to be a bit of a cursed cat and mouse game, as you do see both players make their ways over towards this B site, if I'm not mistaken. But JT5...
Yeah, JT5 does appear to have guessed correctly. He's going to be heading down towards B, taking a little of a peek through. Oh, and he's going to catch the timing. Oh, that's the freest and easiest timing of JT5's life. really unfortunate for Spawns. He clears it, but JT5 peeks right after and just shoots him completely in the side. Absolutely decimates him. And speaking of decimated, the money is not in the best position for the Walling Wizards. They are going to pull by here because it's do or die, but the utility is not fully online, and the guns aren't either. There's a couple of Galils in play, so...
Yeah, definitely one of the rougher buys, but even if Wizards aren't able to win this one, it was a good fought battle nonetheless. But again, maybe there's something to be said about that Anubis showing, but we'll get to that a little bit later as this potential final round is underway.
Let's see if overtime is required. Let's see if map 3 is required. Do you think map 3 is required? Do you think we take this to overtime? Or do you think the Walling Wizards are going to be sent home here and now? Ooh, a little bit of a nice spray down through the smoke with the Galil. Finds the head of Blink. Oh, they're just tripping over each other. They're so desperate to get down towards B. They're just stomping down, accelerating as fast as they can. But it's Cade yet again to defend the solo B defender. Goes one, but yet again, just not traded quickly enough, and his teammate is able to come in for support, and just every last HK, just one by one, H4K is crumbling down to nothing. Player Redbox is able to get one, but he's traded back immediately. JT5 goes huge with the op yet again. It is a 1 versus 3, expect that out of Spawns, but with his position known and surrounded on all sides, there is very little time left. The ghosts are here, and they have haunted H4K out of the playoffs.
Absolutely did. A very clean 2-0 sweep on Walling Wizards' home map, and then, of course, bringing it over to Nuke, where they have double the Walling Wizards' wins. That was an absolutely cinematic game. We saw a lot of crazy moments there, but Cade as well, I want to point to his legendary, well, his almost legendary moment. Didn't quite go as legendary as we certainly would have hoped, but when he was staring down 3 to 4 players in that smoke in the very early rounds of, I believe it was the second half, I do think that he's going to be thinking about that either tonight or tomorrow night, or probably a few nights after that one, just to make sure that whenever that situation arises again, he will be able to smoke every single player inside of that smoke.
True. You know, we still have to give Walling Wizards credit, though. They fought to the bitter end. They made it go all 24 rounds, and it was very close, a lot of them. It's just unfortunate for them. That Boo crew... left to say, except I've been Amos Kingsnake. It's been wonderful to have you all here tonight. It's been wonderful to, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary carriers, it's been wonderful to have you all here tonight. I've been, like I said, I've been Amos Kingsnake, and I've been joined by...
Gareth, and I'll be saying the exact same thing. Thank you all for tuning in, and thank you all for coming out. We'll see you on the next one.
Right, you are...